It appears as though Alyssa Mercante's 15 minutes of fame has finally ran out, because over the past couple of weeks, she has started to engage in frivolous lawfare, specifically against somebody that, interesting, right? Because Alyssa's out there saying that gamers are toxic and they're harassing me all the time, but she was the one to lead a campaign to take down Smash JT's website, and she was out there lying to defend Sweet Baby Inc. earlier this year to obfuscate what they do as a company. He's the living embodiment of confession through projection. Now it appears as though she's having her final meltdown and she's been put in her place properly by somebody from within the industry. But let's get to the lawfare stuff first, because this is a little bit long in the tooth, but I think it just adds up to everything, gives proper context to where this final bit of chaos really weaves its way in. So Smash JT responds to Kotaku senior editor Alyssa Mercante sending a cease and desist letter to him. Wait, what? The only time that he talks about her, which I'm not that familiar with his content. I respect what he does. It's just I'm not like a regular viewer or anything like that. He tangentially pops up on places that I frequent. So yeah, shout out to Smash. He does good work from what I'm seeing. When it comes to talking about Mercante, it's only when she has a perpetually bad take, which I guess when that only happens on days that ends in Y, it could be perceived as being harassment, but a cease and desist for simply commenting on your own public opinions? Let's see how well that works out well for you. But yes, he will countersue for everything you're coming after me with. And he tried to launch and had a bit of a hiccup when it came to offsetting his legal costs with a Kickstarter, and I'm not entirely sure how that ended up working out, but it's been a big circus because she's a clown, obviously. We know that. But if we're going to be cataloging this downfall, might as well be thorough. Mercante, the senior editor at Kotaku, yes, one of 4 people that are left over there, sent YouTuber Smash JT a cease and desist, a letter alleging that he defamed and harassed her. Yeah, whatever. In a YouTube upload, Smash JT announced Mercante has sent an official cease and desist from her lawyer about how I need to apologize for things I've said because they're defamatory in nature. Like what? You've admitted that you do awful things on the internet for money, and no, I'm not talking about your quote-unquote journalism at Kotaku, but you've admitted to more defamatory things than even Smash or any commentator can make up about you. So, okay. Yeah, which is interesting because everything I've said has been in response and using what she has said to form my opinion and explain why I feel the way about her. Yeah, exactly. The only one who's been harassed and defamed has been Smash by Alyssa when she went to the web hoster to get his website taken down. She used underhanded tactics, and did Smash file a lawsuit against her? Yeah, I don't think so. From there, yeah, Smash JT addressed Mercante's lawyer, Lane Haygood, who said the letter. Sorry, this guy struck me as everything that an ambulance chaser lawyer would be. That would take literally any case that anyone brought to him, as long as he thought, hey, maybe I could get a buck or two off of this. So sure, I'll throw a letter out there. What could hurt? We'll send some scares to him. We'll make him admit in the guilt that he is not guilty of, and then maybe we can use that against him to push even further to try to get more. But yeah, that's not working out terribly well for Alyssa. But yes, regarding the accusations of defamation, it specifically references a number of posts Smash JT made on X. First, it points to a post that he made on March 30th where he wrote, "Horrification. What's that? Like what Alyssa Mercante does, sucking in her off time for money? Well, she has an OnlyFans. She's admitted to being a cam girl, so is it really that much of a leap of logic? And how is that illegal? Okay, what you do in your off time between consenting adults is, for you, by you, and please, for the love of God, we've seen way too much of you this year, so please keep that to yourself, but it's not illegal." And frankly, the way that she talks about her critics, it's a 1,000 times less severe. Well, let's continue. Second, it points to another he made on April Fools, where he wrote, "How do I put this? Oh, in a way you'd grasp. The Amico was about as much fun as sucking 20 in a row, but instead of being paid for it, I paid $10,000 to do it." Okay, Smash commented, "Notice how they don't say what Alyssa said, because that would implicate her as egging me on, trying to get a response because her initial tweet on me there was making fun of my initial investment, so I figured, okay, open the doorway to make fun of her. But again, with Alyssa, that only goes one way. Exactly, because she can give it out, she just can't take it, which is very ironic given her past and current professions, because from there, well, now over the past week, she has just really tumbled, because that was from, the end of September. Fast forward to more recent events, and well, she got into this spat with Master of the TDS on Twitter, and well, as he points out, Alyssa's in rare form. We're just the vocal minority, because she was on her chuds, and gamers are ruining everything they actually want. All of these awful, toxic identity politics infused in their games. You guys don't know what you're talking about to her dozens of followers, but if we're just a vocal minority, right, as he points out here, why even bother posting about us? Exactly, because she's out there saying, try and remember, this is a vocal minority whose influence is artificially ballooned by sites like Twitter and YouTube rewarding rage bait. Not really, but okay. Real people in gaming don't give an F about the crap they're screaming about. Right, says the Kotaku propagandist. But here's the thing, man. If you're just out there, you're just raging into the void on Twitter or YouTube. Nobody's going to pay attention to what you do, okay? You think talking against the system makes you more popular? Like, it doesn't pass at all whatsoever. Anybody who has been on the internet for a considerable amount of time, like Smash, like Master of the TDS, I've been doing this now consistently for 4 years, and I know that pushing against the grain, it doesn't exactly play all that well. You might carve out a nice little interesting part of the internet, which is all cool and all well and good. But you take a look at the bigger channels, you take a look at the bigger platforms on Twitter and YouTube, and brother, there are million-plus sub channels that have nothing to do with this, are way more successful, and will always be more successful, even if they get caught up in controversy. I mean, probably the most obvious example is Mr. Beast when it comes to, catching some strays on Twitter earlier this year, and that affecting his business at 0%. And when it comes to, YouTube rewarding rage bait, you take a look at the shills for whatever Disney is putting out under Marvel or Star Wars, and they're out there clapping along and getting preferential treatment. Like there was that deep monetization campaign from Rewriting Ripley not that long ago that exposed themselves as being a targeted harassment campaign. Nothing ended up happening to any of those hacks, but they were trying valiantly to get multiple channels demonetized. No, she's wrong, but we know that. Sky is blue, grass is green, and a Kotaku journalist is wrong about everything, right? But this evil vocal minority that simultaneously has enough power to get the Acolyte canceled, but then also doesn't matter when Captain Marvel makes $1 billion. Which one is it? Okay, so unless you've realized the truth that we're not a minority and that scares you, exactly, because here's the thing, they used to have the power, right? Like all of these establishment outlets, because normies weren't switched on to how bad it really was. Over the past year or so, 18 months, people have really started to wake up. Maybe because everything was just so bad last year. Like, we've been stuck with some pretty awful media this year. Like, there's been some high highs, but there's been some ultra lows this year. And not much of the bad stuff is getting rewarded anymore. Things are just flopping left, right, and center. We've got viewerships numbers for these multi-million-dollar shows coming in, showing that, like, dozens of people are actually checking them out. You have hundreds of millions of dollars at the box office just sitting there and languishing because a film that has big stars in it just doesn't draw at all anymore. So no, normies have started to get turned off to the message. These people are, of course, heralds of the message. And because it's just no longer popular because people woke up for whatever reason, now they're starting to blame everybody else except for themselves for making a bad product. So instead of coming to that conclusion, Mercante would continue her spiral until she eventually got put in her place by an industry insider, somebody who makes these games, somebody who has to deal with these vocal minorities and the public at large. And well, Mercante didn't exactly come out the other side unscathed. No rest for the wicked CEO, Thomas Mahler. Teaches Kotaku senior editor Alyssa Mercante how making video games works after she attacked him as a dickhead. She's a very wonderful individual. Just foulest mouth this side of the Navy. It's just your average sailor, more than likely has less experience with seamen than she does. Thomas Mahler, the CEO of Moon Studios, which is currently developing No Rest for the Wicked, gave senior editor Alyssa Mercante a quick lesson on how developing video games works after she attacked him as a dickhead. Weird. Mahler education of Mercante occurred in the wake of ex-user X in June, implying she worked on Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which Moon Studios developed. So yeah, they're currently working on a new project, but they're notably the studio that brought you those great Ori games, okay? Yeah, Ori, the Will of the Wisps, and what was the new one? God damn it. But yeah, those are beloved games, by the way. She wrote in June, okay, hey new folks, I'm Ray. I work in the gaming industry in UX, R&D, and game production. I worked on various software and hardware for Xbox. I also work as an independent media producer and had the privilege of working on Dota International's 2023 and other gaming media projects. She there shared an image of Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Interesting. Yeah, because that would infer that she worked on that, and whatever that secondary picture is that doesn't ring any bells. The post was brought to a more widespread attention after X in June, made a thread attempting to defend the video game industry's embrace of woke ideology. Oh, fantastic. She even began her defense by claiming that DEI consulting companies are not bullying studios into changing a creative direction, despite, Kim Belair's publicly espousing the tactics that they employ, right? Like, just for posterity's sake, seeing as how we're going through all of this stuff one more time, hopefully for the last time, so all of these people can just fade into obscurity and we can make gaming great again. If you're a creative working in AAA, which I did for many years, Kim Belair working at Ubisoft, how well has that worked out for them? Put this stuff up to your higher-ups, and if they don't see the value that you're asking for, and you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want. Fantastic type of people. Just hire these people. Given the OP's post discussing the current state of the video game industry, and her post from June being referenced as her being an authority on the topic, the authority was immediately undercut when Mahler simply stated, "I'm the director behind both Ori games, and I don't know who you are and how you are affiliated with Ori." In response to this, she admitted, "I worked with the Xbox user research." So you worked for Microsoft, okay. Global publishing during 2018 and 2020. I know Will of the Wisps was out. I don't think the sequel was during that time. So she's out there claiming false valor, for sure. And why? If you were working in user research at Xbox, you wouldn't pick something more high profile during that time? Then, because I don't even recognize that second picture at all whatsoever. But of course, it's just some talentless hoe trying to get some clout. Mahler responded, that could explain it. I don't want to cause you any trouble. I just saw you posting that you worked on Ori and I had no idea who you are. Since you're calling people names online, I thought it was important to inform people that you never actually worked for Moon Studios and that you didn't directly engage with anyone at Moon. Oh, it's just being really nice about, hey, listen, you're a psychopath. We at Moon Studios, we ain't doing that stuff because we got a new game coming out and we'd actually like to sell it to people instead of poisoning the well beforehand. Always be nice to people, Ray, even those you disagree with. Hey, look at that, man. Shout out. Best possible response. Best possible response. Therefore, you see a based individual, and here comes Mercante, one of the most just insufferably thin-skinned people you're likely to find anywhere. Like, you're not involved in this at all whatsoever. But then, she shows up. You're dickhead. What? Mahler, initially replied, "I don't know who you are." And he ruthlessly ratioed this internet cancer. Hilarious. Mercante then reminded him she worked for Kotaku, and he's like, "Still, I have no idea who you are, who even writes Kotaku, or who even reads Kotaku anymore, let alone writes for them, who ran a piece written by Ethan Gotch against Moon Studio and Mahler, back in 2022. Maybe you forgot. Probably because you tried to write a hit piece on Moon Studios back in the cut, and it did nothing to affect their bottom line. People still love Ori, and everybody laughs whenever they hear the name Kotaku. Okay. Mahler then provided Mercante a masterclass on how video game development work. Ooh, this is going to be fun. He wrote, You're apparently a journalist for Kotaku, so I'm guessing you haven't worked in actual game development yet. Let me try to explain the thing you posted about, which I'm guessing was from that hit piece from a few years back. Yes, I'm guilty of what's stated in that image, and that's okay, because this is a normal creative process. We brought lots of veterans into Moon because generally great people want to get the opportunity to work on great projects, and that's our goal at Moon. We always set out to create the kind of games we'd love to play ourselves that fill some hole in the market, because for some reason these holes haven't been filled yet. Something that, Mercante charges us a fee for. And so we're all incredibly passionate about what we do. Again, something else that Alyssa cannot compute with. Mahler elaborated, the great talent comes lots of enthusiasm and passion, which absolutely leads to arguments, because ultimately everyone is working hard on getting their vision into the game, but also everyone at Moon understands that they're working together as a team. So the point of these arguments is then to try to convince each other why this or that solution would be the best thing for the game we're making, and the best solution ought to win. Most of the times, the beauty behind these arguments is that everyone gets a chance to contribute, and more often than not, the actual solution will be one that ultimately everybody contributed to, because we're dealing with very complex issues all the time, and complex problems are often also need complex solutions. It is often a chaotic process, but it's controlled chaos. Fair enough, and goddamn, they got a beautiful looking game there coming out on the horizon. Holy crap, man, like he's writing a tome right here, setting this bitch in her place. I shouldn't have wandered in out from the wild. And yes, absolutely, every now and then I have to put my foot down and set the direction, because I'm a game director, and ultimately it's my responsibility to ensure that everyone knows where things are headed and the decisions get made. And yes, it also happens that I agreed to a certain decision, playtested some more, and changed the direction after. Again, to me, this is normal part of the process. Since things get clearer and clearer, the more stuff gets implemented, and the more we playtest. To me, all this is just how the creative work happens. It can be painful, but my job, like any good director, is to understand what's going on and make sure the right decisions get made, even if some work might get rendered useless in the process. So here, even Miyamoto is guilty of that. Oh, man, that's a thorough ass beating. Mahler then posited that the article was likely influenced by a number of disgruntled employees who were let go. A few years back, we hired some folks that didn't really fit our culture, so we had to part ways with them, and then this article happened. Surprise! Wasn't a great feeling to see some ex-Moon folks talk badly behind our backs, but ultimately it just made it clear that these folks shouldn't have worked at Moon in the first place, and I hope they're happier now, wherever they landed. I'm sure Starbucks or someplace. I don't know why you're out here cursing out game developers and what your whole deal is, but I hope that I gave you some insight into the creative process and messiness and beauty. I hope you have a nice day. Yours, Dickhead. Oh my God, what a thorough dissection of an internet clout chaser. And Mercante did not respond. Yeah, because what do you say to that? This is the clearest example of, oh, you guys are propagandists. Here's what we do over here. Yeah, we kind of have a lineage of great games under our belt. Oh yeah, and take a look at what we have coming out. It's looking awfully good. And what do you have? A sinking ship that you can treat as your own personal e-diary that nobody is watching? Fewer people are reading, and you're making yourself look like an ass on the internet. Yeah, it'd be best to just tuck tail and run. Go back to dunking on the chuds, but then at the end of the day, this is going to be held over your head, and you're not going to have any response for it. Delicious. Finally, we can put Alyssa Mercante in the rear view mirror, and the next time we talk about her is when she eventually gets BTFO'd in the courtroom. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.